What was the biggest lesson from it for you?
It was, what's the biggest lesson? It was to know that no matter what, I will always be okay, because I always have myself. And that is something we forget a lot. We have, with it as a cult, I don't know, like culturally, we're just kind of always trying to fill a void. We're always trying to like look for that external validation, like in all sorts of things, online, in real life, with men, on dating apps, like trying to get the hit, right? This kind of taught me that like, oh my God, that external stuff does not matter. It is all about like how much I love myself, I think.
And in a time of heartbreak and really low times, what do you do to get yourself back up off the ground? Because I know that you have like a huge friendship group. I know you're a bit of an adventurer, you do lots of fun stuff. What fills up your cup?
Oh my God, all the things. I think this is such a good question, because I just love all the stuff. So I'd say like there's systems, right, in place. So your 3 pillars, like your systems are working out, eating well, and just communicating, having good chats, like surrounding yourself with frequency raisers, right? So that's why I've like built this community, because having my friends, they're so good at lifting me up. They check you and they're like, no. You might think you've become the gremlin thought that it's like, I'm not good enough and I'm rubbish and all these things. I'm like, hang on, no, it's a lie. Let me tell you who the hell you are. So that's what I love so much about them. So surrounding yourself with the good people, doing the systems. Like sometimes when you are at rock bottom, you will just have to do the motions, right? You just have to pretend like the world is a simulation and you're in the matrix, and you're just like, I've just booked in for this gym class. I don't want to go, but I'm going to put my shoes on, baby steps, take myself to the thing. And then before you know it, you've got a hit of endorphins, smashed it. Next thing you know, eat something nice. Oh, endorphins, continue. The next thing you know, you're slowly going up and you're not even really checking in. So yeah, I say those 3 systems.
I love that so much. How are you dating differently through learning all of these lessons and going to therapy? How are you dating differently now?
Friend zoning. Yeah. That's the only thing I do now.
It's a technique I've never heard of before, but we just friend zone everyone.
Friend zone until proven otherwise. This is honestly, this is my game that I've been playing.
Yeah, maybe because I don't do that at all. I'm like, no, you're to date only.
Oh, see, this is the thing. I feel like where I'm at, like with blokes, I think it's just such an interesting one, because I've noticed that obviously when I kind of friend zoned this guy that I was just sort of seeing, oh my God, our foundation is like indestructible now. Like this is why I feel like he can still be in my life, because we had that, we built that friendship.
Interesting.
And we built such a solid foundation for ourselves that like it's unshakable. So what I do now is like, if I meet someone, I fancy them. And it's so funny, actually, this is my thing. Like I always go for 10 out of 10. Like it's like a fun game for me. I'm like, that one. And I'll just go for them and like have great chats. And 9 out of 10 times the chat isn't quite there. But we do love just the confidence of just rocking up and being like, who are you then? What are you doing? You're like, let's have a chat. But I just love it. I'm just like, friend zone.
I said this in another episode. If you ever want to go up to a man, just go up to them, because 9 times out of 10 it will make you not like them anyway.
It's so true.
Yeah, because the good looking ones that you keep going for, girls, just the chat's not always there. Sometimes it is. I know sometimes it is. The geeks.
She's really pushing those geeks today. We love this.
Really?
Listen, I'm out here on my own for the geeks, okay?
You should have the pick of the bunch. I've said this so many times.
Yeah, but they're geeks. Right, which obviously is my type, so I'm not slagging the geeks off. It's just that.
Yeah. Right, we're going to talk about manifestation.
Yes.
Because this is your thing. Can we really manifest the perfect partner?
Manifesting a partner, my goodness. Okay, so I strongly believe that if you have all of your own values written down and you know exactly who you are as a person, you have written down like maybe kind of what you would like to attract in, like maybe a strength to a weakness that you have, for instance. If you can keep it as kind and as kind of like upbeat and as like high frequency as possible as you like create this kind of idea of someone, then 100%, because the more we focus on something, the more we sort of seek it out. You know, the whole yellow car thing, like think about a yellow car, you'll see 20 of them. So it's that kind of thing, isn't it? It's about getting really, really specific, I think. So when it comes to manifestation, specificity, knowing exactly what you want, but also knowing exactly who you are. We skip this stage. We're like, get the thing to fill us, to make us better, to make our parents stop telling us to get married and have babies. Like, it's just that, right? We've got to release the whole thing from society and do something for ourselves. And it's like, what would I really like to attract in for me? And like, who am I? And what could lift me up into like another hemisphere, I think.
Okay, so I've got a question for you now, which I think is just for myself, to be quite honest. What would you say to someone that feels like they've like done the work, raised their frequency, has like manifested, but it hasn't worked? Have you got an answer, Sammy? Because I'm looking for it.
I do. I'd say let go now. Let go. You've done it. You've done everything you can in that sense. Like, cool, that's great. And all you can do now is just go, oh, just relax.
It's coming.
It's like,
Trust
and
it.
trusting. So ask, believe, receive is like the manifestation sort of like, quote. So it's like you've asked for what you want. You've got it all down. Cool. You've believed because you are, your self-worth is high. You're working on your limitations, your limiting beliefs. You're like working on yourself. You're like doing the bits. And then just let it, like, allow yourself to receive it. I think sometimes we can go for the action a bit too much, especially with dating. I see it a lot, actually. A lot of people on the apps, like multiple dates a day, like trying to find the one. Some people believe in a numbers game. Like, I don't believe in numbers games at all. Like, I just think it can ebb away at your soul. And we need to keep that frequency up, right? So the letting go of it all. Like, I would say, I don't like... If you, I don't know, I'm trying to do this with my friend at the moment, like, right, delete the apps for a week. Just do it for 1 week and see what magic you can like bring in that week. It's just a little experiment. Like the formula for insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So try something completely different, something you'd never do, and see how it goes.
I think deleting the apps makes you put yourself out there and puts yourself in a position where if you're not relying on them, which I wish everyone would stop relying on them, then you will meet someone in real life because you have to. There's nothing else to rely on.
Yeah, exactly that. And also like with that extra sort of thing of what I was saying earlier about like making friends with people, you take that edge away, you let go of that mask that you might not even realise your subconscious might be putting up of going like, you're beautiful, I want to be with you, I can actually imagine our children right now. It's like removing that so they're not getting a weird vibe from you like, oh my God, are they coming to me? Like, are they proposing? Like, what's going on? So if you can like go into friend zone in that sense of like warmth and openness with the open heart and like the receiving energy, it's like a big yin energy, the healed masculine can show up with their yang and just be like, oh my God, this girl, I know exactly how to sort of like be with her, serve her, like be the guy in the couple. I feel.
I love that.
I mean, she said try something new, so why don't you try friend zoning?
Yeah, I'll try friend zoning.
Please do.
Yeah, I will. Absolutely, I'm up for it. If it's working, I'll do it.
Yes.
With manifestation, you've said a few times, be careful what you wish for. What do you mean?
Oh my God, you really do. So the thing is, right, our subconscious mind, driving that ship, 80% of it, doesn't have a sense of humour. So whatever you say, it is essentially a spell. Now that's why we call writing spelling, right? Because we are making spells all the time with our language. We are casting spells, okay? So if you're like, I'm not very good at that, or if you're self-deprecating all the time, or if you're like, oh, they never choose me, or men are this, or men are that, you're making up these stories, okay? And those will become true. And I believe this so much. You have to kind of fake it a little bit at the beginning. Like it might not feel authentic to be like, men are amazing, all of them are amazing, and they all like one is going to show up, or all these kind of things. Just fake whatever you need to fake at the beginning to get into that neural pathway of believing that that this is going to happen for you, or like that you are enough, or that great things always happen to you. It's lucky girl syndrome, right? So when but you have to be careful what you wish for, in the sense that like sometimes if you're self-deprecating, if you're saying like, oh, I'll just end up with like, whoever or whatever, or like whatever it is, you really will. Your subconscious will drive you to that person. So yeah, be very careful with the language that you use, because it's always listening.
Yeah, analyse the language and habits that you've picked up with phrases. I would always say, I'm tired. 100. Sometimes I wasn't even tired. I just got myself into a habit of being like, I'm tired. And I think I'm like, I don't know why I said that, I'm not tired. Like, and it's these habits of phrases, of words that you're not even noticing you're saying, that you're putting out, and you're just going to keep bringing back. Like, analyse, catch yourself in those moments and be like, I'm not tired, I'm so energetic.
Yeah, honestly. And it does feel like you're gaslighting yourself a bit, but also it's listening. So just give it what it needs to get you through, I think. Yeah. How
do you manifest? Do you literally write it down? Do you think the thoughts? Do you sit under a full moon? Do you like kind of what do you do?
Do you know what? I love a practice. Like I love a full moon ritual. I love all of that stuff. I love getting in tune with like nature's and like seasons and cycles and all those things. And I'm a huge fan of sound baths. Like massive fan.
I love them so much.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So I love all that. But really what I do now is I'll plant the seed. So if there's something I want, or something that's out there that I'm like, oh, like that's a bit of me, it's kind of how it all the winning thing started. It's like I'd be like, oh, that's the thing that I'd like, or I'd like to do. I'd plant the seed. I'd then like ignite the fire within me, which is like that inner child that's like the game, like to gamify it, to be like, like that would be so fun, and like just be silly with it in that kind of like you're not put any chains or like blocks around it, because you're like, oh, it'd just be really cool, just like have that thing and that'd be amazing, and like obviously I'll get it. And then you have the belief system that comes with planting the seed, because you're like, well, yeah, obviously, like there is no doubt in my mind that I can't get that. So you've then like conditioned your mind. The seed is planted, it starts to grow, and the next thing you know, by letting it go and being like completely fine with whatever outcome you get, the thing will always come in, always.
Yeah, but I was going to say, sorry, just before you do the finale, a way that, because I know a lot of people like their own little methods of manifesting. For me, I imagine hearing myself say, I got it. Or so when I manifested passing my driving test, I did it so quickly, and I imagined, and I could hear his voice of my instructor going, you ready for your test? And the next day when I had my lesson, he went, you ready for your test? In exactly the way that I heard it. And I think that's a good little method, is if you're not as good at visualising, hear yourself say something that you're going to say in the moment that it happens.
Yeah. See, I'm a big visualiser, so I can visualise a dream that I want and I truly believe I've manifested a lot of my career moves anyway, especially like I wrote a note to myself about the BBC, because I also joined the same competition that you did, but just in a different area. And I got my show a few months later, not from that competition, but eventually, because I'd put my name in the drawer, they heard about me. And I truly believe I manifested that role. And I've since manifested something coming up that is on a pink Post-it note on my mirror right now that I did in March, and it's happening next month.
Oh my God.
When they fall though, sorry to go off on a tangent, but when the manifestation gets so close and then stops at the very end and you don't quite cross the finish line, why do you think that is? And that's a personal question for me.
Yeah, it's a limiting belief there. Okay. So there'll be something that's that's blocking you, basically. So it'll be something subconscious, and it will be a belief system that might not be aligning. But because I think with my BBC job and that whole winning thing, because I decided to do it 6 weeks before, there was no limitations. Do you know what I mean? There was like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like there was that silliness of like that playfulness of like, oh, but if I don't, then fine, because I've got this other career that I've been doing my whole life, so whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that whole like silliness and playfulness. So if there's anything going on for you at that moment where you can just be like, oh no, actually, do you know what? I'll let that go.
Yeah, maybe my time span was 6 months of auditions for a reality TV show, maybe. It had given me too much time to put a block there. By the time I was like 10 days out from going in.
Wow, yeah.
And then I always wondered why, and it was on my vision board, and it was a random manifestation that like, I just kind of randomly put it on there, and it all just happened so quick to go on a Channel 4 reality show. And then 10 days, I was going on it, my bags were packed, and then 10 days I got an email being like, yeah, sorry, no, you're being dropped.
Wow.
And I always wondered, I manifested that though, and why did I not get to the very end?
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I think that will come from a place of, you did everything you could. And I think we need to remember with manifesting and all the kind of like magical stuff that happens to us, like when the bad things happen, it is never our fault. Like we can always ask ourselves, like, I could have done better, but that's not how we should never go down that kind of path. That's the gremlin path. But always to go, okay, it's out of my hands. Like this final result was like, it wasn't my fault, but what it will do, hold up a mirror for you, and it will also show you a whole new path and go, okay, I got this close. What can I get more specific with? What do I really want? Because this is taking me somewhere else. And that path is definitely right for you not to have done that. Like anything could have happened in that show. You could have been edited really badly and like, lost loads of jobs. It could have been awful. So it's kind of like always looking for like the blessing and going like, okay, cool. We've got redirected. Like amazing. Where am I supposed to go next? Because I'm so excited.
That was the key word. I was going to say, I believe whenever things like that happen, it's rubbish, but that's the universe just redirecting.
Yeah, they do say that I want this manifestation or something better.
Yeah.
And I suppose that was, it led me here. I probably wouldn't have been doing this if it wasn't. So
yes, exactly.
Didn't you manifest being a hand model? Didn't you just, that was a belief system for you, no? Didn't you just say, I'm a hand model, and that you did that then?
Yeah, that's more my like, sort of like, fuck you to like the structure of how working worlds work. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just such a ridiculous thing because I was just like, yeah. Everyone at drama school was like, what are you going to do to make money then? I'm like, obviously I'm Hollywood. Like, obviously I'm going to make millions, don't worry about me. And then I was like, fine, I'll be a hand model. Like as a joke. And the next thing I know, I just got calls like, heard your hand model, what's your day rate? And I was like, that's actually hilarious because that was a joke. So do you know what I mean? Like no bounds on that. And obviously like knowing that they are stunning. And
yeah,
like,
we're now looking at the hands. Yeah, show them to the camera. Amazing. I love that.
So
it's
funny.
all about just saying what you are. I truly believe that.
Oh my God,
obviously
massively.
within reason, guys, but yeah.
I'd say like the best formula for success is audacity. Like you are only as successful as how audaciously you show up, and I think we can see it. And I hate to like generalize, but like, you know, there's big boss CEO men out there, and they are not afraid to spread their wings. They take up space, and that's for women. I feel like this is our biggest thing. Like, be audacious, because that's where success lies.
Hey guys, I'm Daisy.
And I'm Sean.
And remember to like, follow and subscribe if you want to see more great content with us, and of course our amazing guests.
And lots of dating advice and lessons learned.
We can't wait to see you next week.